me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name. When last year I spent more money on filmmaking and buying from one side of the world to the other than you make. You talk the truth, the rubber, where Diamond Ring, where get feeling, feel good, living this way, just flying, son of a gun. Flying, son of a gun. And I'm having a hard time holding down this stuff.
Hey yo, it's that time in the show when we like to take a little survey. So is there anybody here that came to see that red hot black and white express? Survey says one more for the good guys.
Welcome to Fantasy Kingdom. I'm your host, Mikey, and as always, riding with me, Shotgun. Howie, how you doing, buddy?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I took a week off and took the bye week and getting back into the swing of things.
There you go.
So last week we had some pretty good games. There was no Bills game, as you know. I'm a diehard Bills fan, and I got to sit down and just watch. I will tell you, the refereeing is atrocious across the league. It's not just the Bills games; it is atrocious across the league. And it was a good week off, but I'm glad my Bills are back, and hopefully they can get something going and roll into the playoffs. Hopefully, it wasn't a great week for you though.
No, I've lost in pretty much every phase of the game
across the board. We'll start with your Commanders. Whew. It was ugly. It was ugly.
Well, we are in like the fourth spot for a draft pick now, though. So,
that's a positive.
That's number 4. That's either a good tackle or maybe a receiver.
Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr.
That'd be nice. I'd rather
Maserati Marv.
I'd really rather pass on a receiver or running back right now and get some line. I mean, how many times can he hit the ground?
Then what you need to do is if you have that pick and you have Marv,
then you move back.
Move back and
gather some picks.
Assets. Get some assets.
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Something in the wallet.
What's going on, Tommy?
I love Harrison though.
What's going on, Tommy? Yes, it's gonna be fun.
Tommy.
But then we had a matchup this week. We have a matchup this week in fantasy.
Oh yes.
It's the last week before playoffs, but it's all about positioning.
Yeah.
I'm locked into the 1 seed, but you have your option being, the 3 seed or the 4 seed.
2, 3, or 4. It depends on because I'm only 5 points back of number 2 right now.
Yeah. So it really comes down to you don't want to be in the 4 seed because that means we meet in the first round and not possibly.
That means we meet next week again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want a 3-game sweep. Because if you beat me this week, I'm in 4th place. I'll go into the playoffs in 4th.
Yep. But it's hard to beat someone 3 times.
Yeah, not in fantasy. I don't think.
So it'll be interesting.
You have a good week or you don't,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see how this one plays out. But let's jump into last week. We'll do our studs and duds. We'll start with the quarterbacks. We had Purdy, who led all, who had just had a monster game against that Philly defense. Who, I'm going to be perfectly honest, Philly looked like they were just dragging ass by the second half. I mean, they went with their schedule was rough those 3 weeks, and the fact that they pulled out 2 of them was actually quite amazing. But man,
I think that might have been their mindset too. As long as we get get out of the end of this healthy, we'll still have it'll take a lot to get that first seed out of them.
Yeah. Then Gino, we gotta love some Gino. In an epic loss, he did his damnedest to help his guys out. Then Dak was our 3 studs. Honorable mention, we had Love, who has just burst onto the scene over the last few weeks. Then we had a local boy from Folsom, California, Jake Browning.
Yeah.
Jake Browning showing up into the fantasy studs. And then Matt Stafford. From a running back standpoint, we had Kamara, Mixon. Welcome back, Devon Achin. Honorable mention, we had Henry, Connor, and Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
which was kind of cool. It was nice to see Mixon get back on track. You haven't seen much of that this year.
Yeah, I'm just wondering which one's going to show up this week.
Beth, you and me both going through our Bills withdrawals. But you know what? It gets all kicked off tomorrow in a rematch with Kansas City. You know, man, does that make me nervous.
Hey, Kansas City's beatable. They're not the monster they were.
But
you guys aren't the monsters you were a year or two ago either. But this is an interesting game.
Really, there's only one monster in the NFL right now, and that's San Francisco.
Right.
Everyone else it's a week by week league.
Everybody else can be beat. Niners can be beat. I mean, they went on their little
3-game losing streak.
3-game losing streak, but teams pop up, teams go down. And I'm waiting for that one guy who shows up at the final 3 weeks of the season every year, comes out of nowhere, and then his name forever, like BB or you know
who that might be? Trey McBride.
Yeah, maybe.
McBride's starting to tear it up in Arizona. He's like kind of their go-to. Great win. It says the Ravens are stout. The Ravens are stout.
Yeah.
My only issue with the Ravens is their offense. Losing Mark Andrews really puts a dent in that offense because he was their alpha target receiver. So
they're lucky with the running backs lately though.
They lost Dobbins.
They're not great, but I mean Gus has been doing pretty good, and you got
Mitchell. You have the Mitchell kid coming on.
Yeah, you got him coming on. So I mean they're not as frail as they were for a while.
Yep. Before I move into the wide receivers, we do have a question here from the Great Windit. Thank you so much. It says Rice, Puka, Lockett, McKinnon for flex, full PPR. Also, would you bench Pollard for McKinnon? So it's a 2-part question. Let's go with the first part. If I had the flex, this is how I'd rank my flex, and then I'll let you go, Howie. I would go Puka is my number 1 ranked, especially in a PPR league. Then Rice, then Lockett, then McKinnon.
I would go the same way because you're not sure who's going to be in the backfield for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a good order.
And then the second one says, would you bench Pollard for McKinnon? I would not bench Pollard for McKinnon for 2 reasons. One, what Howie just said when he talked about, you don't know who's going to be in the backfield. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably going to be their main first 2 downs, and then you're going to bring in McKinnon for third. But you're going to see Tony in the backfield. You're going to see Kelsey in the backfield. Like it's a cluster. They don't just have one. So and Pollard's going to be the alpha. So the Eagles, have given up a ton of receiving yards to the backs recently too. So in a PPR league, I would go Pollard over McKinnon.
Yeah.
You?
Easily.
You the same way?
Oh, yeah.
Scott Blakely comes in and says Josh Allen for 404 TDs. So basically what's more likely? Or Patrick Mahomes for 40 yards and 4 interceptions. More likely, Allen 404 TDs. You're not holding Mahomes to 40 yards and 4 picks. That's not happening.
You gonna eat a pepper if Josh does that or doesn't do that?
404. Oh, that's rough. That's a really good Kansas City defense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a mixture of that in there, like Josh for 4, and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because he'll be chucking it.
Yeah. FKC's in the house.
Hey,
Chiefs. Yeah, he's a diehard Chiefs. Yep, no problem, Wendy. Good luck this week. I hope you take our advice. But at the end of the day, just remember, go with your gut. We're 2 schmucks on the internet talking football.
Yeah.
That's it.
Some weeks we get it really right, and some weeks we don't.
Yep. So let's keep going through some stats from last week. We had, for wide receivers, we had Metcalf, Samuel, Collins back. Now that Tank Dell's gone, you're going to see probably a lot more Noah Brown and Nico Collins. And then the honorable mentions, it's a who's who of wide receivers. It's Lamb, Hill, and Chase. It's the first time I've seen those three names in the studs.
Yeah.
I think all year together.
All together, yeah, because Chase has been, hasn't been in a position to get anything.
Right. Tight ends, we had Laporta, who's a stud. He's just been a stud all year. He's a stud all year.
I like Sammy.
Yep. Ingram and McBride. Again, I'm talking about McBride, who's that guy that I think that's going to just popped on the scene that's going to stay. I liked him coming out of college. And then we only had 2 honorable mentions for the tight end position, and that was Ferguson and Taysom Hill. And I think Taysom Hill is kind of a cheater tight end position because he gets a lot of his stuff outside the tight end position.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
Yep. So let's hit the duds from quarterbacks. Your boy, Justin Herbert, led the duds this week.
Yeah, he was supposed to get me, 3-2 or –
yeah.
And he didn't.
No, he didn't even get you one. They had 2 field goals. That was it.
It was terrible.
It was odd to see the Chargers win 6-0 over the Patriots, and the Patriots come back and drop 21 on Pittsburgh's defense. The Chargers have one of the worst defenses in football.
Yeah. And they killed me scoring 6 points.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I had
Eckler didn't do anything.
Herbert and Eckler, I think between them got me close to 20 points.
Ouch. Yeah, that would be a reason you.
They're supposed to be getting me like 60.
Yeah.
Every game.
Yeah, not recently.
That's why I'm benching Herbert this week. I'm benching him for Jordan Love in case anybody out there with Herbert this week. I'm leaving Eckler in, even though Denver's tough.
All right. So, and then on the dud side, we had Herbert, we had Mayfield, we had Carr. But Carr got kind of a pile driver out of that game.
Every 3 or 4 games, he's been getting hammered.
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And then running backs, we had Swift, who had a dud of a game against San Francisco, Eckler, and then Devin Singletary. Since he's kind of rose to prominence there in Houston, it was his first bad game.
Well, now he's back to Devin single digit. And this week,
that was rough.
This week he's played the Jets, so I wouldn't look for a whole lot from him this week either.
Oh, not for Jordan Love. No, he's benching him for Jordan Love. And then on the dishonorable mentions, we had Brian Robinson, and did Washington had a rough go last week. Connor, Robinson, Warren, and Gibbs, my rookie stud. It was like they just didn't use him again. They went back to not using him. He popped off, and then I don't get how they're not, like, he ran them all the way down to the end zone, and then they gave the ball to freaking Montgomery for the touchdown.
Well, that's old school football. That
drove me nuts.
You've seen that. You used to see that forever. You got your slash and burn type of stuff,
but they've been giving him
like when they had Pollard and Zeke together. Pollard, Zeke, doink.
Yeah. But this year they've been giving him a lot of goal line touches, Gibbs. So the fact that he got him down there, you get him down to like the 1 or 2 yard line, and they bring in Montgomery, it just drove me nuts. I'm like, yo, stop doing that.
Especially last week when you were playing Gibbs against a guy playing Montgomery.
How I won last week, I'll never know. Because I also had, because Josh Allen was on a bye, so I had to go with Hal, and his 2 rushing touchdowns saved me.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down to the wide receivers. Christian Kirk, who got injured, who's now on IR, so will be out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Thielen has fallen off a cliff in Carolina.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that offense is just a hot mess. That organization is a hot mess right now. And then Cooper, who just passed concussion protocol, so he'll be back this week. Dishonorable mention, Calvin Ridley returned after a couple great games. Godwin and Garrett Wilson landed on the dishonorable mention for the first time this year. That quarterbacking situation was so bad with Boyle and Simeon, they went back to
I know.
to Wilson. Like, that's how bad it was. On the tight end side, we had Logan Thomas, Njoku, Freiermuth, and the one dishonorable mention was Pitts. So that was our studs and duds for week 13. All right. We got a question in here from Nino Pina. Should I drop Howe for Dobbs as my backup in playoffs or hang on to Howe with a rough schedule? Ugh. I have Howe too.
I would, if I could get Dobbs for Howe, I would. And I'm a Redskin fan.
I don't know. Dobbs has been bad the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he's got Jefferson back, and
having Jefferson back doesn't stop him from throwing it to the other team.
And I don't see Washington dumping games, but they're down there for those early picks now. So, and they're not doing very good. I mean, Howell throws a lot of yards, but that's because he's running for his life and just chucking it.
Like, listen, Howell had about as bad as games as you can have last week, and he still got me 20. Dobbs
is your backup. Who's your starter? I wonder.
Yeah,
but I like Dobbs. I think he's got more weapons to throw to at least.
So you would go Dobbs. I would stay Howell. I don't trust Dobbs, and the last 2 weeks he's looked horrible.
Well, it's nice to know somebody likes a Washington player.
I would go with Howell. They're always going to be down, and they're going to be throwing. Like, there's nothing better even with that rough schedule. That's what you want. You want them throwing the ball. That's the old Matthew Stafford Detroit Lions thing.
That's true.
His starter's Stroud, and he has Cleveland in one of the playoff games. Yeah, but we just watched Jake Browning dice up Cleveland's defense.
That's right.
So it's possible. And Stroud's.
I like Stroud, and he's got. Look at all the weapons he's got. Even with Dell out, he's looking good.
Nico and Robert Woods and
now Schultz is out, but you've got Brevin Jordan coming in. So look for him if you.
And Brevin Jordan's actually more of a wide receiver than a tight end.
That's good.
Coming out, he was a converted wide receiver in college to tight end, and he's super fast. Like, Brevin Jordan is someone to keep an eye on.
You get him a linebacker, and he's going to tear him up.
Like, he made a couple plays last week when Schultz went out. He had a couple nice catches down the stretch, and Stroud just throws it to whoever's open. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
And he's confident. He's just so confident when he throws the ball.
Yep. So we got bye week this week, Howie. We have the Washington Commanders, and who's the other one? The other one is
Cardinals.
The Cardinals. So with that, we have a couple games. A couple really good fantasy games. We have like the Bills Chiefs. That's going to be a fantastic one.
Yeah.
We have the Cowboys Eagles. That's going to be a fantastic one. The one that I think could be sneaky good. There's two. I think the Rams Ravens could be sneaky good, but I also think the Chargers Broncos could be sneaky good.
You could get a lot of points in that game.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Yeah, absolutely. I would keep Hal. He would go with Dobbs. So really, it's go with your gut, whatever one you're feeling. I like Hal because he's always down. And he just has to throw the crap out of the ball, and every once in a while he gets lucky and hits a bunch of touchdowns.
That's kind of like me with Herbert.
So there's 2 Monday night games. Howie, I told you before we were going on, I'm not a big Monday night guy. When there's 2 of them, I hate that. I like to sit down on Monday night and watch one game. And there are 2 going on. So you have the Packers at the Giants, and then you have the Titans at the Dolphins. So I'm like, what the hell? That's why he don't sit Herbert. Yeah. You know who does sit Herbert? My co-host. He sits Herbert.
This week.
And
he
needs to win.
For 3 years.
He needs to win, and he's sitting the guy. I'm not sure I sit Herbert against that Broncos defense. I'm really honestly. But then again, knowing you have love against that Giants defense. But the Giants tend to show up on those primetime games.
You never know. Both New York teams could win this week.
There's one New York team.
Okay.
One New York team. You have 2 New Jersey teams and 1 New York team.
Oh, that's right. That's
So
right.
let's call it what it is. Like New York gets the benefit, the Giants and the Jets get the benefit of the name, but they don't pay New York taxes. They pay New Jersey taxes. They just they get the benefit of having the New York name.
Okay.
Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Excited. Our Bills start their 9-game win streak. Yes, Scott. To get us through this ship. Get us the trophy.
There's a pepper bet right there, I'm thinking.
What, 9 straight games? Yeah, right. I'm not betting a pepper on 9
games. That's right up there with 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean,
600 yards and 4 touchdowns is what you said.
Well, that was between 2 teams.
Yeah.
Scott was saying earlier about
404.
Yeah.
But Josh has done that against them more than once.
Well, that's like I say, that's a legitimate pepper bet.
No one's dumb enough to do pepper bets but you.
Yeah. And by the way, since I messed up last week, I'm ready to go.
Yes. You had a horrible one.
You know, last year the peppers I grew looked so brutal, but were so mild. And this year they look sweet, but they're devastating.
All right, we got a question coming in. Rashee Rice or Chuba Hubbard for flex? That's a great one. I'm probably going Rashee Rice.
I'm going with Rice.
Me too. I like Chuba. And who are the Panthers playing this week? Let's see. They got the Saints. The Saints actually have a pretty good run defense. Their defensive line is good. So I'm going Rashee Rice. Outside of Kelsey, he's the one guy on the team that can catch the ball.
Yeah, he's basically, I mean, I think he's the only one with like 25 plus catches on the team besides Kelsey. And he's definitely their number one. So, and Chuba, just depends how the game's going.
Nino comes in and asks, was Gibbs last week just a bad matchup against New Orleans, or do you think his work's getting cut? I think it was just a bad matchup because they still used him a bunch. He just didn't get any of the touchdowns. I'm going with him again this week. He's in my starting lineup in my leagues. I really do think it was just the matchup. New Orleans had a really good defensive front.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Howie?
Well, we'll see how he does this week. Atlanta's got a pretty good defense. So
do they have the same defensive front that New Orleans has, though? I don't think they do.
No. But,
they have a better secondary than New Orleans.
They use Gibbs a little bit more in the passing game, so that might hurt. That might hurt him a little bit. But
who are they playing? They're not. The Lions?
I thought the Lions played Atlanta this week.
No, I don't think so. They play the Bears. The Lions have the Bears. I'm going Gibbs all day.
Yeah.
Scott says if they do win 9 straight, he'll eat a pepper. Because he'll enjoy that. If they win the Super Bowl, he'll eat the pepper.
I think you got the whole bet thing turned on its head.
The only way you're going to get that guy to eat the pepper again is if the Bills are hoisting the Lombardi.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
buddy.
I'd say go Bills, but my recommendation has been a curse. So I'm going to do you guys a favor, and I'm going to say break a leg.
Right? Listen, it's one of those things. Go Bills, always. Win, lose, or draw, it's go Bills. They just keep, every time I get excited for them, they rip my heart out. Every time.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's the life of a Bills fan. He said he'll be a bell pepper.
Hey, that'd be something anyway. You can pretend it's hot.
Yep.
And you're from back east, so bell pepper's probably a little harsh for you anyway.
So let's hit a couple of these games, Howie. What's your thoughts? So let's start with the Bills Chiefs. What's your thoughts from this game coming up?
It really depends on the Bills defense because they both have really good quarterbacks, but I already broke the leg. Oh, that's right. You got really good quarterbacks. Neither one of you have a very good running game. It's going to come down to the defenses in this game.
Oh, don't tell me that. That scares the hell out of me.
I'm sorry. I mean, because like I said, you guys have 2 good quarterbacks with good people to throw to, but they don't always catch the ball. The running backs on both teams aren't elite, The quarterbacks are, Kelsey is, and it's going to come down to your defenses.
And really,
It could be a complete shootout. It could be a complete shootout, but it's going to be who makes that turnover.
I know you want to hit on Josh.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but in my head it just flashed in front of me. He's at the 30. He's got a good dunk off pass, and he goes for the end zone, and it's a pick six.
You want to know what's crazy? You know, Patrick Mahomes is only 3 turnovers behind Josh Allen.
Oh, hey,
no one talks about it.
That's, originally when I drafted him as the final pick in our draft way back when, I did it because he was a gunslinger, and you had told me, hey, he throws a lot of interceptions. But I picked him anyway and got 2 first rounders out of it in the championship. So hey.
Right. And matter of fact, you took him in the last pick.
The last pick of the draft.
Yeah. Chris Jones sounds pissed off. I bet he does. Like, he doesn't like to lose, and he doesn't lose a lot. Let's say what you want, but the Kansas City over the last 4 or 5 years don't lose a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think this is like the most losses they've had at this time in a long time. The one thing I didn't want to have happen, I did not want Green Bay to beat Kansas City, because when you beat Kansas City, it pisses them off. I didn't want to piss off Kansas City coming out.
This week. The next one in line.
Right? Yeah. It's like, come on. You couldn't have, just choked that one away, Green Bay, and let them win, and they felt good about themselves. And they, I don't need a pissed off Chris Jones. I don't need a pissed off Patrick Mahomes. The dude's good enough as it is. You don't need him to be pissed off.
Were they playing?
Or in Kansas City.
In Kansas City, they have real grass?
They do.
Oh, they're going to be watching Josh's jersey big time.
Really? You really think so, huh?
Oh, come Monday, it's going to be like, God, there's no blue on here. It's all green.
He's going with the white tops, blue pants.
Oh, God, that is going to be just like green streaks all over, like skid marks.
Yep, because he's jumping people and diving and running over people. That's why.
That's where they'll be, on his knees.
Yeah, he's on his back as he's diving into the end zone.
Doing the helicopter spin.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't need any, John Elway type of helicopter spins.
Yeah. Last thing you need to see is him at the top of a spin going, oh no.
Right? I need to keep him healthy for this 9-game run. So
that's right.
All right. So let's hit on another game. We have the Eagles Cowboys. As a NFC East lover, as you are from the Commanders, what do you see on this one? The refs are ready to play. The refs are horrible, Hefe. Like, it's across the league, but oh my God. I just pray to God that I would rather them to swallow the whistles and just let the guys play. Don't get yourself involved at the end. Just let these guys play it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's it drives me crazy. And it goes both ways. That's the crazy part. Like, you go back to that Green Bay game, like they hit on Patrick Mahomes where he was in bounds and they called roughing, a late hit.
Yeah.
And then they missed the pass interference down the middle. Like, the dude was all over MVS. Like, that was textbook pass interference.
Yeah.
It's just like, or when they went into the Hail Mary and they 2-hand shoved Travis Kelce to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. Win for the Cowboys, FA says. So let's hit Eagles, Cowboys. What's your thoughts?
I think it's kind of a show me game. Dallas is, these people are saying, oh, Dak for MVP, and Dallas is so great. But if you look at who they beat, they haven't beat a whole lot of teams that have a winning record. The Eagles, as good as they are, got trounced by the Niners, and they're I think there's a lot of hype on both of them, and I want to see a slobber knocker of a game.
There's another NFL team that hasn't beat anybody good yet this year too. The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going around this year. Big records and what's behind them. So the Dolphins are going to have to put up or shut up the next few weeks.
I think they have this week and next week, and then the last 3 weeks they go Cowboys, Ravens, Bills.
Right.
So that's their put up or shut up stretch.
Yeah. Do they end up with the number 1 seed or not there? Because I think they need it.
There's
They
still
they need to be home.
If the Bills don't lose out, they have a chance to still get the division. Like they haven't even clinched the division yet.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. If we go by Scott Blakely's outline, they will have to win one of the two against either the Cowboys or the Ravens to get to win the division.
Right.
So, all right. So let's do some sit and starts. We'll start with the quarterbacks. We got Jordan Love at the Giants, or we got Jared Goff at the Bears. Who are you starting?
It's at the Bears, so it's outside. Goff doesn't play outside very well. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love.
I like that take.
They call Goff an indoor cat.
You're not wrong. I think this is his last outside game of the year too.
Yeah.
He
doesn't play well outside. Hopefully he will, because I need him to throw to St. Brown, but and you need him to do a little something with Gibbs. But yeah, I think I'd go against the Giants. Although my dad's a big Giants fan, and every time I go against the Giants, they slap me down. I mean, they beat us twice.
Ouch.
Twice. I mean, a team that's got what, 3 or 4 wins beat us twice.
Yeah.
That hurts, My old man's back.
With DeVito,
Oh yeah, with Tommy.
Tommy
with the chicken cutlet guy. Yeah.
All right.
So
Jose comes in with a question. It says, getting difficult to make these lineups after the trade deadline. 12-team PPR. Start 4 out of Chase, Pittman, Waddle, Nico, Kyron, Zach, Etienne. Ooh, I'm starting 4. Okay. I'm going Chase, Etienne. Ooh. I'm not going Kyron because Kyron has a rough matchup against the Ravens defense. Going Collins. Who do they play? The Bengals. And Pittman. I'm going Chase, Pittman, Collins, and Etienne. Howie.
Is Etienne fully healthy right now?
As far as I know. He's not showing up on any injury report.
Okay. Well, I would go a little different. Even though Kyron's got a tough matchup, I think the Rams might even pull an upset. And then I would go with Nico, Pittman, and Moss, just as a changeup.
All right. So I'd go Chase, Pittman, Collins, Etienne. And if you don't want to go with Chase, you can always go with Waddle. Waddle's, decent. Man, that Baltimore has such a good defensive line, though, man. That defense is so good. Kyron is going to have a rough day ahead of him. But okay, hopefully, Jose, we gave you some different options. And again, as we always say, go with your gut, because at the end of the day, it's your team.
Yeah, when you get a split decision like that, it's tough. It's like, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on Moss? You like Moss's matchup? It's going against the Bengals.
Well, Bengals aren't, I don't know. I think
you went with Kyron Williams and Moss over Etienne.
I did. I'm not really a big fan of Etienne right at the moment. And like I said, I think he's still hurt. I think he's got ribs.
I mean, Etienne is playing Cleveland, but what Cleveland team are you getting? Are you getting the one from last week? Are you getting where Mixon ate him up, or are you getting the Cleveland from earlier? Because Myles Garrett's also still dealing with injury.
I think Cleveland's still tough. You're starting him, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. They're my only defense. They're my only defense I got. So, all right. you know, I know that probably didn't help you, Jose. If you want to go the safer route, without Etienne, I understand that. Because Cleveland is one of the best defenses in football, or they were. I don't know how they are now that they're beat up. So, all right. So let's go to another quarterback. I'm gonna tee this one up for you. Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? Who you starting this week?
Me? I think I would start Josh. I think Mahomes has the best chance of pulling something out of his ass and winning the game, but I think Josh is more mechanical and he's going to just chuck it.
Oh, here's one: Herbert or Stroud? Well, Howie's benching Herbert this week, so he's going to say Stroud.
Playing the Jets.
That's not a great matchup.
It's not a great matchup, especially for the running game. But we've already talked about that.
I'm going Herbert.
I think maybe I'd go with Herbert on that, just because Stroud's up against a tough one, and that could be a wake up call for him against the Jets defense.
Yeah, Broncos are good, but they don't have the same defense the Jets have.
Right, and I mean that might be a shootout, with Wilson and Herbert. I don't know. Now you're talking me into switching quarterbacks here. I got 24 hours, I guess.
Yeah. Bills fan 1970. Kincaid, Hockenson, and Rice. I can only start 2. Thoughts? I'm going Hockenson and Rice. I'm not playing Kincaid this week. Dawson Knox is returning. I have no idea what Kincaid's role is going to look like with Dawson Knox back.
Okay. I would go with Hockenson and Rice, mainly because you are the expert on the Bills.
I'm just saying, I love Kincaid.
Really, if you're not starting Kincaid, I'm not starting Kincaid.
Yeah, I'm not starting Kincaid. I don't know what his role's going to be now with Dawson Knox back. Like, I'm hoping they keep him as tight end 1, and they keep.
I don't see him. I think Knox will, even though they got to pay him a lot, I don't think he's going to play all as much. I think Kincaid's going to stay the number 1. I just don't know how Kansas City's defense deals with tight ends. I would expect they're good at it.
Well, they are, but they're one of their best linebackers who covers them just got hurt. He's out, Tranquil. But they're bringing back Nick Bolton, who's more of a run stopper than a pass stopper. I don't know what it's going to look like with Kincaid because we haven't seen, or with Knox back, because we haven't seen what it looks like since we made the switch from our tight end, from our offense coordinator.
Right.
He was out when we made that switch.
Yeah, we need to see what a two tight end set looks like for you guys.
Exactly. So, if I was you, Bills 970, I'd go Rice and Hockenson. Rice is going to get the ball. And the Bills play a ton of soft coverage. And Patrick Mahomes will happily take that 3 to 5 yard, completion all day long.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't get bored like Josh Allen throwing checkdowns, underneath routes. Josh Allen gets bored. He just wants to show off his howitzer.
That's good.
It is what it is. Yeah. All right. I'll give you one more quarterback setup. Are you going to go Josh Dobbs at Vegas, or are you going to go Jake Browning against Indy?
What's that? Is that you thumping?
No. I don't know what that is.
Anyway, let's see. Throw that by me one more time. Cooper's still in concussion.
You going Dobbs at Vegas,
right?
Or you gonna go Browning at home versus Indy?
Well, let's see. Browning at Cincinnati, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Dobbs.
You gonna go Dobbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he just got. I think it comes down to a matter of weapons, and Dobbs has more weapons.
Tommy in the house, he says very interesting with Knox returning. How will Joe Brady manage both tight ends moving forward? That's the $1 million question right now. Is like, what does it look like? Like, I think bringing Dawson Knox back, he helps in the run game because he's a better blocker. He's also a pretty good, safety valve at times.
Yeah.
But when he was on the field before, they didn't run Kincaid very deep. Everything was short. he left, and then all of a sudden Kincaid was getting those intermediate passes. My concern is that they're going to go right back to that, and I don't want to see that. I want to see Kincaid as much as possible. The dude's a playmaker.
Might help your running game out.
It should help the run game because he's a better blocker.
Well, he's a better blocker, and like you said, an outlet pass.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help your run pass option a lot, I think.
Yeah,
but we'll see how he uses them.
All right, so let's get into the running backs. Some set starts. We have Rachaad White at Atlanta, or if Saquon Barkley versus Green Bay.
That's our game. He's pulling out.
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah. Boy, Saquon's still their only weapon. I'm going to go with White. They've been throwing him the ball a lot. He's getting a lot of those dinks and dunks.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon, you need those 25-yard slashes from him for him to be effective. So I'm going to go with Rachaad this week. I know it sounds like a homer pick, but I think he can score some more fantasy points. He might not be the linchpin to their game winning. I mean, Saquon's probably going to be the reason they win or lose, but I think White will outpoint him.
All right, you're going to go Jahmyr Gibbs at Chicago, or you're going to go James Cook at Kansas City? I know you love Montgomery more than you like Gibbs, but I know you don't trust my run game.
I know. I'm going to go with Gibbs.
Gibbs? Okay. All right, I like that. Would you go Derrick Henry at Miami, or would you go AJ Dillon at the Giants?
I would go with AJ.
AJ over Derrick?
Yeah. Derrick isn't the Derrick of old.
He showed up last week.
Yeah, well, he's probably still sore from that. You see that hit he took toward the end? Oh my God! They actually took him off the field to check him for a concussion, and he didn't have one.
He didn't come back.
But he didn't come back. But he was, So yeah, I'm going to go with Dillon. Dillon's used a little bit more in the passing game too. So.
My concern with Derrick would be that Miami ggets up big and just takes him out of the game.
Yeah.
If Tennessee gets down 2 or 3 touchdowns, they're in trouble.
If they stay even, they'll keep pounding him. But
and you can run on Miami.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of how well Tennessee's defense can shut down that passing attack for Miami to keep them in the game. Would you go Breece Hall versus Houston, or Jerome Ford against Jacksonville?
Breece Hall.
Woo-hoo!
I think he's got a better chance to break one. Plus, Ford is still splitting time with Kareem, and yeah.
Okay. Bill's Night 7 comes in and says start 2, Swift, Moss, and Hubbard. I'm going Swift and Moss. I just don't trust that.
I don't trust Hubbard either.
Cleveland or that Carolina offense at all. Like Hubbard had a great game last week, but I feel like if you go with Hubbard, you're just chasing the dragon.
Right. And because he hasn't done a whole lot all year.
Yeah.
You gotta go with Swift. And I think Moss is a better shot than Hubbard.
Yeah, me too. I'd go Swift and Moss. Those are my 2. One last one from a running back standpoint. Are you going where are we at? Miles Sanders? Because you have to remember Miles Sanders there with Hubbard too, and he's still. Would you go Miles Sanders, or would you go Tyler Algier?
God, I think
these are deep league starters.
Yeah, I think I would go with Sanders.
See, and I think I would go Algier. Algier tends to get the touchdowns.
He's hit and miss, though. That's the problem with him.
And so is the entire Carolina offense.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, I just one of those things.
I
I'm
mean,
not
I had
sure.
Algier early in the year because
Mhm.
Bajan wasn't doing much.
Yep.
Now they're still neither one of them are still doing much. And actually Algier has shined brighter, but I don't know. I think they're going to start. They've been using Bajan a little bit more, and Algiers is very touchdown dependent.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. DJ Moore, against Detroit, or Michael Pittman Jr. at Cincinnati.
I like DJ this week. I mean,
You love DJ in general.
Well, I like him when he's linked up with Fields.
Yeah.
Before that's why I traded him away, dumbass.
Yep. It's one of those things. Because Badgett didn't really throw to him. Like Fields will throw to him in double, triple coverage. He doesn't care. He's just gonna throw him the ball.
Now, for that trade, it was a dumb trade, but I got Sam Laporte out of the deal.
But it wasn't a dumb trade because he wasn't going to be a keeper for you.
He was my fourth
and
receiver.
You upgraded your tight end by he was your fourth receiver, and you upgraded your tight end. It actually wasn't a bad trade for you at all.
As soon as I did it, though, he went off, and that team beat me that week.
Yep.
The same team I traded him to. Boom.
As a matter of fact, who you traded him to is the team that, like Laporta was his backup to Kelsey. You know? So it was one of those things.
We both had a wealth,
Uh-huh. We just talked about this one, Scott. He said he's going with Josh Allen this week. We just talking about this one. He thinks Mahomes will, correct me if I'm wrong, Mahomes will have the better opportunity of pulling it out at the end, but you think Josh Allen's going to go Terminator this week and start unleashing bombs.
He's going to force Mahomes to keep up with him. Or he's going to chuck it, and we don't want to even think about it, right?
Yes, stop your horrible Josh Allen bashing, you jerk.
My bad juju.
Stop your bad juju. I don't want to hear it. All right, you're gonna go Waddle this week against Tennessee, or you can go Devonta Smith at Dallas.
You know what? Waddle has just not been.
He gets like 15 a week.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get the big ones because
Tyreek. He doesn't get the big one because Tyreek takes that away from him, and then they go to the run game.
Yep.
So I think Devonta will probably be in it the whole way. I mean, if the Dolphins get ahead, Waddle will decrease. If the Eagles get ahead, I think they'll keep throwing it.
All right, I got a couple more for you. Devontae Adams versus Minnesota, or DJ Metcalf at San Francisco.
A week or two ago, I thought all the Seattle guys were just going to get slaughtered by San Francisco when they played them, and they came out pretty good. Now, how is Geno doing? Is he hurt? Is he healthy?
Geno's a game time decision.
See, there you go. Because if they don't have Geno, DK's not going to do well against the Niners.
So you go Devontae versus Minnesota with Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah, yes, with a caveat. It's a game time decision.
If Geno's there, you're going DK.
Yes.
Okay. I can respect that. All right. Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua?
You know what? Let's go with Puka.
Go Puka? All right. I think you'll like this one. Jaden Reed at the Giants. Garrett Wilson at Houston. Or versus Houston. Slinging Zachy Wilson's back under center.
Yeah, but Wilson, I don't think Wilson has scored very many points in any game this year. He made that great catch to begin with.
Christian Watson is out in Green Bay, so it's going to be Dobbs and Reed.
Okay, Steve. I'll take the Packer guy.
Reed,
yes.
All right. I like
hope
that.
He gets like 6 touchdowns.
I bet you do with playing Jordan.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to tight end. Laporta or Hawkinson?
Vegas. You can't go wrong with Laporta. I mean, they're just feeding him lately. He's kind of that phenom that, I mean, Hawkinson's great. He's going to score a lot of points.
Hawkinson's the top-rated tight end this year.
Right. I think Laporta's going to do better there.
Ooh, that sounds like a bet coming up for me and you. Because I'm starting Hawkinson, you're starting Laporta.
Well, pretty much every one of these calls has been something like that.
Yep. All right. Travis Kelce or George Kittle? This week.
Kelce or Kittle? I think Kelce.
You think Kelce this week? Okay.
Yeah.
Ferguson versus Philly or Ingram at Cleveland?
Ferguson. I own Ingram.
Pitts at Tampa Bay or Cade Otton at Atlanta?
Man, Otton got 0 last week.
I know, they didn't even look at him. He got no targets.
I'm going to have to go with Pitts. I mean, maybe there's a reason.
Goddard at Dallas or Kmet versus Detroit?
Kmet.
Because Goddard's back this week.
Yes, I know. But I'm going to go with Kmet. I think they'll ease Goddard in. And with Fields back, it's more and Kmet are going to be boom, boom, boom.
We're going to go flex. One final question on a flex setup. Are you going to go Josh Jacobs, DJ Moore, or Deebo Samuel?
Oh, boy.
You can only start one in your flex.
Deebo.
You'll go with Deebo. All right. I like it.
He's an overall weapon as opposed to a positional spot.
All right. I like it. So that was your sit and start this week. Let's jump into the into your Hot Pepper Challenge. Last week you had Tua and Hal combined for 605 touchdowns. They combined for 407, two passing, 2 rushing, and an interception. So you failed there. And before you eat your pepper, you can give me what's your Hot Pepper Challenge this week, Howie.
Let's see. I'm going to go Jalen Hyatt for New York, wide receiver.
Woo!
I'm going to go 580 and a touchdown.
Wow.
Against the Packers.
Okay. Hyatt, five catches, 80 yards. Scott on pepper time.
Yeah.
No one loves that more. All right,
Scott, I'm coming.
Before you eat your hot pepper, who's your X factor? You lost last week. You picked up McLaurin, and he got you a big old fat 0.
Yeah, I did.
You're now down 3. You're now down 3 weeks.
3 with
4 to go.
4 to go. God, I'm not gonna go homer.
No, go with a lock for you. Who's your lock?
Who's my lock for the week?
Who's your lock for the week?
DJ Moore.
I should have known that's where you're going to go because you were just talking about him.
Talked about him 2 or 3 times this episode. So,
and I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be my lock this week. We got DJ Moore versus Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, Howie, time to.
Oh, I got a couple deep dives.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
If you're hurting for tight ends, and everybody kind of is, Dalton Schultz for Texas is out. So look at Brevin Jordan, and this being week 14, in a lot of leagues, the ads and drops shut off as of Monday night, right?
For us, it does.
But
in a lot of leagues, you can just do it all the way through.
You just keep going. Well, in case you are in a situation like us, make sure you go over your lineup and get rid of the dead weight. Double up on a couple things. Like a lot of guys like to run one quarterback the whole time. He slips on a banana peel, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So make sure you got backups for. I would say you
kicker and quarterback. Kicker and quarterback, you need to make sure you have a backup for.
Yeah, you definitely.
If you want to run one defense, that's fine.
Right.
You need to make sure you have a backup for kicker and quarterback just in case.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to get that second tight end. Just
Yeah.
But Anyway, just be ready for the playoffs.
Yep.
Right now you're trying to get into them, but once you're in them,
They start next week.
And if you're still available to make trades, now's the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
All right.
That's where I've got. And who else did I have? Maybe take a look at Gerald Everett, because Denver gives up a lot of points to tight ends.
Also, you may want to look at McBride for Arizona. He's still available in almost 20% of leagues.
Wow, he definitely. If he's available in your league, you want him on your team.
Yeah.
He's
available
unless you got like Kelsey or Laporta or somebody like that.
But even then, he's been out producing everybody over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and I don't know where that kid Keaton Mitchell, where he's sitting on your waiver wires, but he might not be a bad idea to have tuck away for the playoffs.
Yep. Yep. All right, Howie, time for that Peppa. Let them see you. Scott's been waiting all show long.
Here you go, Scotty.
Oh, he didn't just bite the tip; he ate the whole thing. Ooh. How's that one today?
Pretty hot.
Not like the last week. Like you bit the tip and you had to go get some milk.
Well, as long as I don't allow any oxygen in my mouth, it won't catch on fire.
That's awesome. All right, everyone. Remember, this is the last week before the playoffs start, so make sure you get in there. Scott's dying for you. Make sure you get in there. Pick up the guys that you need to pick up. Get ready for the playoffs. If you are in for a battle to get in the playoffs, I wish you the best of luck. Hallie and I will be with you all postseason in the playoff season as well. So we'll be back next week at the same time, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. For Howie, I'm Mikey, and we'll see you guys next time. Stream is ended, I think.
Well.